When millions of viewers first discovered the world of porn stars, there was one person almost nobody expected to succeed outside the show. Porn stars Chumlee looked like the lovable screw-up of the pawn shop. He joked around non-stop, forgot details, made careless mistakes, and constantly got teased by everyone around him. To fans, he seemed more like comic relief than a serious businessman. But behind that goofy image, something very different was happening. While people laughed at him on camera, Chumlee was quietly studying everything around him. He watched how fame worked. He watched how audiences reacted, and slowly, without most people noticing, he started building a financial empire of his own. But here's the strange part. The person everyone underestimated the most would eventually become one of the smartest success stories connected to the entire show. Long before television changed his life, Chumlee was just another guy living in Las Vegas. No wealthy family, no celebrity connections, no expensive business education. He grew up around ordinary people dealing with ordinary struggles. Life in Vegas moved fast, and surviving meant learning quickly. When he first started hanging around the pawn shop, nobody could have predicted the awkward young employee would one day become a millionaire recognized around the world. Back then, he was simply trying to make a living in a city filled with pressure and competition. But sometimes, the people who look the least prepared are secretly paying the closest attention. And that may have been exactly what separated Chumlee from everyone else. As porn stars exploded in popularity, something unexpected started happening. Fans didn't just care about rare collectibles anymore. They became attached to the personalities inside the shop. Rick Harrison brought experience and authority. Corey Harrison brought attitude and energy. But Chumlee brought unpredictability. Every episode felt different when he was around. Viewers never knew what weird comment he might make next, or what disaster he might accidentally create. People tuned in just to see what he would do. And slowly, he became one of the most recognizable faces on television. But here's what many people completely missed at the time. Chumlee understood exactly why audiences remembered him. He realized the real power of reality television wasn't just fame. It was branding. And once he figured that out, everything started changing fast. While many reality stars wasted money trying to look rich, Chumlee quietly started thinking like an entrepreneur. Fans wanted products connected to him, so he launched merchandise. T-shirts, novelty items, autographs, collectibles. The demand grew much faster than expected. What looked like a small side hustle suddenly became serious money. Sales became so large that even Rick Harrison reportedly helped manage parts of the operation. But Chumlee wasn't interested in making quick cash and stopping there. He wanted businesses that could survive long after television fame disappeared. That mindset separated him from many other reality TV personalities. He wasn't just enjoying fame. He was preparing for the future. But what exactly was he building behind the scenes? One of his smartest moves came from understanding tourism. Every day, thousands of people traveled to Las Vegas hoping to visit the famous pawn shop from the show. Chumlee realized those tourists represented a huge opportunity. So instead of letting all that attention go to waste, he opened a candy store near the pawn shop area. At first, the idea sounded random, almost too simple. But financially, it was brilliant. Fans already visiting because of the show naturally became customers. People wanted souvenirs, photos, and experiences connected to the world they saw on television. Chumlee turned TV popularity into real-world business traffic almost automatically. And while many people still viewed him as comic relief, he was quietly creating multiple streams of income at the same time. The money kept growing, but business was only part of the story. Away from the spotlight, Chumlee became deeply interested in investments and collectibles. Unlike celebrities who spent millions on short-lived luxuries, he focused on things he believed would become more valuable over time. He invested in collectible cards, gaming memorabilia, sports items, and nostalgic products tied to childhood culture. Long before Pokémon cards exploded in value, Chumlee already saw their potential. Pokemon, he understood something powerful about nostalgia. People will spend enormous amounts of money reconnecting with memories from their past. That instinct helped him build collections worth far more than most people realized, and it also revealed another side of him audiences rarely saw. On television, he looked carefree and disorganized, but behind the scenes, many of his financial decisions showed patience and long-term thinking. He wasn't just spending money, he was positioning himself for the future. And then came another major move nobody expected. Real estate became a huge part of his strategy. In 2019, Chumlee sold his large Las Vegas home for more than $1 million. Fans were shocked when they saw the property. Spacious rooms, luxury features, a swimming pool, a guest house, expensive cars sitting outside. It was proof that the funny employee viewers once laughed at had quietly built serious wealth. And maybe the most surprising part was how silently it happened. Chumlee rarely bragged about being a businessman. He never tried to convince people he was the smartest guy in the room. He simply stayed in the background while his wealth continued growing year after year. But then everything suddenly changed. In 2016, Chumlee became the center of a scandal that threatened to destroy everything he had built. Police raided his Las Vegas home during an investigation tied to serious allegations. News spread across television and the internet almost instantly. Headlines focused on firearms, drugs, and the larger investigation surrounding the case. Overnight, the lovable reality TV personality became surrounded by controversy. Fans who once laughed at his jokes suddenly questioned everything they thought they knew about him. Media attention intensified quickly, and for many celebrities, scandals like this become career-ending disasters. Businesses collapse, opportunities disappear, public trust vanishes. For a moment it looked like Chumlee might lose everything, but what happened next surprised almost everyone. What made the situation even worse was the contrast between his public image and the headlines dominating the news. On television, audiences knew him as the harmless, funny guy. Now his name appeared beside criminal investigations and controversy. Even though sexual assault charges were never officially filed against him, the damage to his reputation was enormous. Chumlee eventually accepted a plea deal connected to weapons charges, and many people assumed his time in the spotlight was over. But instead of disappearing completely, he slowly focused on rebuilding his life piece by piece. He stayed connected to his businesses. He protected the investments and income streams he had already built before the scandal happened. Quietly, he continued earning money while avoiding unnecessary attention, and because he had created multiple businesses before the controversy, he wasn't fully dependent on television fame anymore. That decision may have saved his financial future entirely. Around the same time, another struggle forced him to rethink his life. For years, Chumlee battled obesity and serious health problems. His weight affected his confidence, his lifestyle, and his future. Eventually, he decided to undergo weight loss surgery. The transformation became one of the biggest turning points of his life. He lost a significant amount of weight and started focusing more seriously on discipline, health, and stability. But the changes weren't just physical. They were mental, too. Fame had already shown him how quickly life could change. The scandal showed him how fast success could disappear. And now, maybe for the first time, he seemed determined to protect both his health and his future at the same time. But the biggest change was still happening quietly in the background. As the years passed, Chumlee slowly evolved beyond the role audiences originally knew him for. He was no longer just the funny employee making mistakes inside a pawn shop. He became a businessman, investor, entrepreneur, collector, and survivor. His candy store kept attracting tourists. His collectibles continued increasing in value. His investments kept generating income quietly behind the scenes. Even when the spotlight faded slightly, the financial structure he built remained strong. And that may be the most impressive part of his entire story. Many reality stars become trapped inside the character television creates for them. Chumlee figured out how to use that image instead of being controlled by it. What makes his journey so fascinating is how completely people underestimated him from the very beginning. Because he acted goofy on television, many assumed he lacked ambition or intelligence. But sometimes the smartest people are the ones nobody notices at first. While audiences laughed at the character they saw on screen, Chumlee was studying how fame worked, how branding worked, how investments worked, and how long-term wealth is actually built. He recognized opportunities other people ignored. He understood the value of public attention before many reality stars did. And most importantly, he realized something many celebrities never learn. Fame is temporary, but businesses and investments can continue growing long after the cameras stop rolling.